What is up, everybody? This is Claudio Alegre. Welcome to episode 12, season 3 of The Daily Pill, a live webcast sponsored by our parent company, Angel Home Care Services, providing guidance, advice to families in the community regarding their convalescent loved ones at home, mostly in the Dade County and Monroe communities right here in South Florida. Thank you for being here. And by the way, while it's fresh in your mind, go to angelhomecareservices.net. And once you get there, there's a big red button. Click it, and it'll take you to a page where you can download this report for free. How to have your elderly parents properly cared for without going broke in the process. 34 pages of pure gold, all kinds of guidance with a lot of information on tricks and tips and hacks on how to get the best out of the system to be able to better care for your spouse, for your mom, or your dad, or a loved one of the house. So today's topic is how to start collecting Social Security disability benefits fast, but properly done the right way. If you're going at it alone, if you regardless of where you're in the process, if you're stuck in the application or the appeals process, or if you're just starting and you need a little bit of guidance on how to start, you don't want to miss this episode. And because of that, we have a guest. Our guest today, he's a pretty smart guy, and he's gonna pretty much do what we all wish that we could do when it comes to topics such as this one, which is give us a pretty good, solid, practical summary in 15 minutes or 20 minutes, right, on what we need to know about this topic, right? And his name is David Batchelder, and I'm going to read off his bio, because when he sent it to me, it's like a couple of sentences. When I went to his website, it was like a full page. So thank you for summarizing this for me, Dave. You made my life a lot easier, because I know I was reading this and I was saying I know this is a lot. It's a lot more than this, but anyways. So Dave is originally from Hampton, New Hampshire. Mr. B, I guess that's why they call you your friends and family, right? Mr. B studied pre-law and received his bachelor's degree from Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1986, and his law degree from Suffolk University Law School in Boston in 1990. Mr. B has specialized in SSDI and SSI disability applications and appeals since 1992, and opened his own law office in Miami in 1999, which is dedicated to representing disabled working people and children. Mr. B is a resident of Miami Shores, where he lives with his wife Millie and his two sons Connor and Blake. And today, he's going to talk about how does one qualify for Social Security disability benefits, how do I get from Social Security if I'm found disabled, so what happens next, and how does it take, how long does it take to get disability benefits, which are pretty much at the core of the whole thing. I know he's going to go a little bit deeper, have some questions for him, and it's just going to be an awesome conversation, and hopefully you walk out of this with very practical knowledge on what to do next. All right, so Dave, great to have you, man. Thank you for being here. What's up?
My pleasure, Claudio. Thanks for inviting me.
All right, man. So I guess let's just start with the first question, right? Like, how does one qualify for Social Security benefits, unless you feel that we need to start somewhere else first? Is that kind of like a good question to start with?
That's a good opener. Sure. How to qualify for Social Security disability? How do you get Social Security disability benefit or SSI disability benefits? The first step is filing an application, and we do that routinely for our clients. But the standard, what do I need to prove? How do you show that you're eligible for the Social Security disability or the SSI disability? The legal standard is the inability to engage in any substantial gainful activity. And usually when I'm doing the Reader's Digest version, I say the inability to work. But of course, like everything, it's a term of art. So inability to engage in any substantial gainful activity, meaning any work activity over $1,310 a month. So if you're making any more than $1,310 per month, That's it. Step one, you're out. Are you working? Yes, I'm working. I'm making over $13.10 a month. Then it doesn't matter how severe your medical impairment is. Doesn't matter what your problems are. You don't qualify. You're kicked out at step one. The inability to engage in any substantial gainful activity due to a severe medical impairment. Again, severe, a term of art, but severe really interpreted by the courts as meaning any medical impairment that would affect your ability to function effectively in the workplace. So severe medical impairment that lasts for more than 12 months. So not necessarily already lasted 12 months, but is expected to last 12 months or more. And so that's what you have to prove. You have to prove you have a medical condition that's kept you out of work or will keep you out of work for 12 months or more.
Okay. So chronic in nature, pretty much.
Chronic, absolutely. Now, we all know that the human body or the mind can fail you for a million different reasons. So the Social Security Administration has their listing of impairments and the specific criteria in those listings that you have to meet. And it's a very draconian standard. You have to meet every single criteria, and you have to meet it and met it for a period of at least 12 months or more.
Okay.
And that's a listing level impairment. As you get older, once you get over age 50, over age 55, 60, then the medical vocational guidelines can apply, and they factor in your age, your education, your past work, the skill levels, the exertional levels. And then even if you could do a desk job, if you're over age 55, you could still be considered disabled according to the medical vocational guidelines, or what we call the grids, if you meet the specific criteria. So there's a couple different ways I can prove you're disabled. If you have a listing level impairment, or if you're over age 50 or 55, we can look at the grids. If you're a younger individual under age 50, then you have to prove that there's no work you can do. And if you don't meet a listed impairment, you have to show that you can't even do a desk job. You can't even do what they call sedentary work. Right. And so again, it's a tough standard. It's a tough standard to prove.
So meaning that it's skewed against the individual, pretty much.
Yeah, it's funny because the act was intended to help disabled people, working people, but now it's gotten very, just in my 29 years experience working in this area of the law, it has gotten more and more and more difficult to win these cases as the years go on. It's a much more hostile agency than I ever experienced when I first got out of the gate.
And there hasn't been any type of new progressive type of evolution in the way that they, it's pretty much stayed flat. It's gone backwards, or definitely not forward, according to what I'm hearing from you.
No, they make it harder and harder. They just changed the listings a couple of months back to, for example, a listing level back impairment, something where you have to show a spinal abnormality, a herniated disc, impinging on the nerve roots. It has become more and more difficult to prove even a back case where you could just present an MRI, nerve conduction study, show a herniated disc, show nerve root impingement, a condition like that. Now there are more subsets, more levels of proof, more conditions that you have to show to meet the listing. And that's just one listing. The mental impairment listings were changed last year, again, making it even more difficult to prove a listing level impairment. They certainly don't make it any easier for you. Okay.
All right, so I'll take us to the question number 2, which is what do you get from Social Security if you are found disabled? And I guess based on what you just said, there's different levels of disability, right? So what you get is based on what that definition is for you based on your case, correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Everybody has to be 100% totally disabled, unable to work. But it's not like workers' comp or personal injury where you get a rating to the body for a specific injury, get more money for that. It's not like that. What your Social Security disability insurance benefit, the SSDI, the benefit that you pay into, everybody's different. It's your monthly benefit amount is specifically based on what you've paid into the system over the years, over your working life.
Okay.
But I can throw a couple numbers at you just to give you some examples.
Sure.
Based on the Social Security stats that they publish every year, the average American blue-collar worker, average SSDI recipient can expect to receive $1,279.97 a year, so a month. So that's approximately $1,280 a month that you could receive in SSDI benefits if you're adjudicated totally disabled. If you have dependent children under the age of 18, they would receive what they call auxiliary benefits, which is typically half of what the disabled wage earner gets. So your dad gets $1,280 a month, and half of that's what your child gets. And if your spouse stays home and has to take care of your children, take care of you, can't work, then there can be a spouse's benefit. We call it a wife's benefit, but it could be a husband's benefit also.
Okay.
And that's up until age 16. But it's still the same benefit. It's still the same auxiliary benefit that the child would get. They don't get any more. They just divide the check up. Same as if you have 2 kids, 3 kids, it's the same auxiliary benefit. It's same half. They just divide it up between the kids. So that's the SSDI, and of course you get Medicare insurance with the SSDI benefits. Now the kicker is, unfortunately, there's a 29-month waiting period for the Medicare insurance. So you have to be disabled with the SSDI benefits. You have to be disabled for 5 months before you're entitled to anything, period. And then they start the monthly cash payment 5 months after what we call your disability onset date.
Okay.
The Medicare is 24 months after your disability onset date, plus the 5-month wait period. So that's why I always tell people it's 29 months for the Medicare insurance eligibility. But that comes with the SSDI. Now, the SSI disability, the Supplemental Security Income Disability Benefit, is the maximum federal benefit rate for 2021 is $794 a month, plus Medicaid. No wait period for the SSI, immediately eligible for the Medicaid. And for a couple, if you're a couple living together that receives SSI, the maximum federal benefit rate for 2021 is $1,191 a month. So that's what you can receive in SSI and Medicaid.
And Dave, can one individual, can one person receive benefits from both SSDI and SSI?
You can.
Combined?
The idea being it's Social Security income. That's the idea. It's supplements. So let's say, for example, your SSDI benefit was only $500 a month. You haven't worked much, or you haven't paid much into the system. You didn't have high-paying jobs, so your benefits only say $500 a month for whatever reason. You are entitled to $794 a month, the minimum, the maximum SSI rate, but they're giving that, they think that's the minimum you should be entitled to. So they will supplement the $500 a month with the SSDI with another $294 from SSI. So at least you're making the $794. The beauty of that is, however, you would then be entitled to both Medicare and Medicaid. And I'm not as well versed in Medicaid as I could be, but I also understand that there are Medicaid supplements that will help pay. The state will help pay your Medicare premiums each month if you qualify for the Medicaid, and you would then have Medicaid and Medicare. So obviously $794 a month isn't much to live on, but there's something to that, right?
Yeah, for some people is a lifeline, man.
Yeah.
You know, for some people,
I have many clients that only come to me. They're quite frankly, they may be well off financially, or the monthly Social Security disability benefit is not the primary motivating factor. They need the Medicare. I just signed up a client. He was a dentist, and he has MS, He has 2 shots per year, each costing $68,000. $68,000 for a shot. Without it, he tells me he wouldn't be able to get out of bed. It's the only way he's able to even walk, and he can't walk, but he still walks. He still gets around. He's a dogged, determined guy. He is not going to give up, boy, and he's living on his own, and he's doing it. But to do it,
Wow.
he has to have a shot that costs $68,000 every 6 months. How do you pay for that? I mean,
that's $140,000 a year vaccination.
Smart guy.
Wow. Yeah, I think we lost Dave. Dave, are you there? Yep, I think we lost him. He's frozen. All right. So, so that the next question I was going to ask that we'll see if he comes back is, how long does it take to get disability benefits? And that's as I understand it, is different for everybody. But then again, I could be wrong because I'm not the expert. He is. And then he was gonna go into the specifics of some case studies, like for example, this gentleman that he was talking about that needed that he needs to get 2 shots a year just to get around, each worth $68,000 a year, but that he gets that through Medicare. So you there?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi went out.
All right. Yeah,
So
I see
anyway,
you now. Can you hear me okay?
Obviously a lifeline to him. I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
So obviously the Medicare.
So yeah, wow. Yeah, he needs that. I mean, he has that for him is it's a must. That's a non-negotiable scenario for him. All right. So the third question, Dave, is how long does it take to get disability benefits? Typically.
Okay. That's pretty straightforward answer. At least it was pre-COVID. So pre-COVID, 4 to 6 months to process the initial application. Post-COVID, 4 to 6 months, 12 months, God's own private mystery. It's really been a struggle because you file the application with a local Social Security field office online. They forward it to the state agency that's responsible for actually making the decision on the claim. That's the Office of Disability Determinations, a subset of the Florida State Department of Health and Human Services, or what I call DDS, Disability Determination Services. They're all working from home. So somehow, some way, it's gone from 4 to 6 months to process an initial application to maybe 12 months to process an initial application. We're slowly getting back to 4 to 6 months, slowly. That's on the initial application. If you're denied on the initial application, and 67% of all applicants nationwide are denied at the initial application stage, and it's easy for me to cite that because for 29 years, that number has stayed the same. I'm not generally a conspiracy theorist, but for 29 years, that number stayed the same. So over 2/3 get denied. And if you get denied, you have to request reconsideration. Goes back to the same state agency that denied you before. Pre-COVID, I would be confident in telling you that it would be 60 to 90 days for reconsideration determination. Post-COVID, your guess is as good as mine. 8 months, 12 months, wow. 60 to 90 days. It's really erratic. However, the good news, if there is good news about having to go to court and having to put your case in front of a judge, they have really done an outstanding job. I can't say enough great things about the administrative law judges and how they have taken control of this situation. All of our hearings are by telephone right now. We can't go to court. They haven't opened up yet. The commissioner has not opened up the Social Security offices yet, except for dire need type cases or special appointments. No in-person hearings. Everything is by telephone. So how they've done it, it really has been amazing. I can't give them enough credit. The telephone hearings have been outstanding. They had a few hiccups in April 2020, May 2020, just working through the logistics and the hardware. But before, it would be a year to a year and a half to get a hearing in front of an administrative law judge. At one point in time, at one of the lowest points that I could ever remember, it was actually 2.5 years to get a hearing in front of a judge in Miami.
Wow.
In the last couple of years, they've got that reduced. They've got it down to a year and a half, about a year. And now, doing everything online, working from home, the judges have got the wait time cut down to 4 to 6 months. Absolutely amazing. Again, these people are working from home and they're working. They are working, buddy. And I'm so impressed with how the judges have handled the situation like true professionals. I mean, to cut that wait time even from a year to a half a year, and it's really one of the better stories that's come out of all this. They were trying to go to video for years, and quite frankly, we fought video hearings for a while because they had a lot of work that was going to these national hearing centers, these big brother operations that were quite frankly not as favorable to our clients as we would like, and maybe didn't know as much about Miami clients as we would have liked. Because I'm getting some judge out of Phoenix that knows nothing about Jackson Health System or Memorial or any of the facilities that many of our clients have to take advantage of. And so I would much rather have an in-person hearing in front of a judge. My client deserves it. It's due process. But with these telephone hearings, no, you can object. But I had one client object after all this time, and they still haven't opened the hearing office up. I've had many hearings by telephone in between now and then, and we're still waiting for in-person hearings. So let's say 4 to 6 months for the initial app, and then say 3 to 4 months for reconsideration, 4 to 6 months for a hearing in front of a judge. You're still well beyond a year, sometimes 2 years. I can tell you this horror stories about the 10-year cases where I have to go to federal court. The longest case I've ever had to represent someone, 12 years.
Do you think, Marty's asking, do you think they'll continue it once everything's opened?
I think they'll probably allow us the option if we want it. I think they're going to push even harder for video hearings. And I don't want to say, I'm not so jaded to say things like they'll take advantage of this opportunity, they want to close those brick and mortar shops. They want to close those hearing offices. They want us all going on video and by telephone. So, but I'm happy to go back to court when we can. I think it really is a disservice to your clients ultimately, but we've had really good results by telephone. So,
all right. Yeah.
I'll leave it up to the client. My clients are disabled, man. They don't want to go anywhere. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't schlep it downtown and pay $20 for parking.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think you put this genie back in the bottle. And especially with the kinds of clients you have, right? So one last question, and then that I have is, like, how some people are do-it-yourselfers, right? They like to do everything. What are the chances that a person with very little knowledge can actually do this themselves?
Okay, so here's the easiest way I know how to explain it to people, because I wasn't good at math. That's why I went to law school. But I'm a small business guy, so I keep close track of stats and percentages, and it's always that 67% denial rate has always stuck in my craw. It has always just bothered me. It's just wrong, 2/3 of everybody, really, for 29 years, really. Yep. Then you get to reconsideration, it's 88% get denied.
Wow.
Right? State agencies already denied you once. You try to go up there again at reconsideration, 88% get denied. Again, these numbers stay the same for 29 years. But a whole different story once you get your case in front of a judge. But I can tell you the value of representation, because I'm happy to report if you hire me to assist you with the initial application filing, I have a 92% pay rate. 92% of my applications get approved. first time around. No appeal. 4 to 6 months, we're one and done. And that's something we're really proud of. And I think that number just speaks for itself. You need representation. Do I have to give you the example of, I'm not going to wire my own house. I'm not an electrician, right? You're going to file your own Social Security disability application. Good luck. God bless. They are not going to be kind. They are not going to help. They are not going to walk you through the process. They are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You have to have a trained professional walk with you through this process. There's a reason I've been doing it for 29 years, 22 years in my own shop. People need this help.
Well, those stats speak for themselves, because you have to be a paperwork lover, or some sort of you have to be kind of sadistic to want to go through that. Plus you won't get the results most likely. I mean, look at those stats, on the standard basis. But man, those are great numbers.
Dude, I don't go to traffic court on my own, and I'm a lawyer. I mean, well, I do now, but I mean, it's not my bailiwick. It's not where I'm at home.
I don't pay my own tickets.
Right. I mean, I don't represent myself. It's an idiot for a client that represents himself. Yeah. And to think that you can walk into court and sit in front of an administrative law judges, 12 different judges, 12 different personalities, 12 different ways they want the case presented. And you got to know that, and you have to prepare your client for that. And if you think you're just going to walk in and tell the judge how it's going to be, well, good luck. But again, even with the initial application, the representation is invaluable, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that's pretty much with everything at the professional service level, but especially this field.
Sure.
Dave, what's the best way for people to connect with you and find you?
My email, my telephone number, still have somebody answering the phone. Olga, my paralegal, is with me for 11 years. She's my right arm, and we do all the work and we reap all the rewards. So the website is disabledworkers.com. The email is dwblaw@gmail.com. Telephone number is 305-371-8127.
Yeah, that's been peppering. That's been showing around here, all over the place. There it is, 305-371-8127. Yeah. So,
yeah, and if you call the office and I'm here, you're talking to me today, you'll speak to Olga immediately. She'll do a quick 20-minute intake, and if she likes what she sees, then ultimately you've got to get past her before you get to me. But if you make it past her, you've got a good case. And if I'm here in the office, you'll speak to me immediately. And if I'm not in the office, she'll probably track me down and want me to talk to you wherever I'm at. So that's the best way to get us. Give us a call or send us an email. We try to be real sensitive to people calling in. And if you leave a message, you're going to get your call returned the next day.
Awesome. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much, Dave, for showing up, taking time. It's almost 8 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, and you're here with me. So I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the knowledge you've dropped today. And I'll see you around. We have to get together soon. All right.
Hey, it was my pleasure. Thanks for the invite, Claudio. Really.
All right. All right, man. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you next Wednesday for episode 13 in this season. The season is almost over, but I still have a few surprises up my sleeve, a few guests that I've been it's everybody's so busy at this time of the year, right? Everybody's getting ready to go on vacation. So, but I've been able to track a few of my friends and experts down, just like Dave here today. And I think the next few weeks, I think all the way up to the end of this month, next month, I think that we're gonna have some, pretty interesting people waltzing through here. All right. So thank you. Have a good one. Stay safe, and I'll see you next Wednesday, 7:30 live right here. Take care. Bye-bye.